Happy Saturday evening. Hope you had a wonderful, productive, blessed day of the Lord. It was so beautiful here in Chicago. Let me ask you this question. Are you facing a decision this evening? This being Saturday evening, people want to celebrate and everything, but maybe you're not sure as far as a course of action to take. This story in 2Sam.4 really speaks to all of us when we have a decision to make and we're not sure. We are reminded in James 1:5 to ask the Lord for wisdom if we need it. It's not an if, it's when we need it. And that's all the time, because he will give it to us generously and upbraideth not. He will not scold us and be like, I thought you should know this by now, Michelle. No, he will not look down and say, No, he will give it to us. He will pour it on us. And this is the story of two men who thought that they were doing the right thing. They thought that they were looking out for King David. As you know, Saul was pursuing David from before because he was jealous, he was insecure, he was rebellious, and the Lord stopped listening to him and stopped honoring him, and he was miserable after that. And that's why Saul pursued him so much, pursued David. Well, anyway, Saul died, and we talked about him falling on his sword and then someone else finishing the job for him. Jonathan passed, and these two men came up to David and said, yep, we did this, we finished the job. There was someone, in Saul's camp, Saul's son, and, he was on the enemy's side. He was against you because Saul was pursuing your life, King David. And guess what? We went to his house while he was taking a nap, and same occurrence. I don't know what it is about people stabbing each other under the fifth rib, but while this Ishbosheth was taking a nap, they stabbed him. And the two men, these two brothers, brought the head of Ishbosheth to King David. And they thought that they were going to be rewarded, like, yeah, we looked out for you. And David relayed a story. There was once when someone did the same thing. They thought they were looking out for me, and they killed someone in Saul's camp. And I questioned them. I challenged them. I said, how can you kill someone of his camp or even Saul himself? And he was the anointed. He was the called upon king. Yeah, he might have done me dirty. Yeah, he might have been my enemy, but I still honored him. And guess what happened to the two men that looked out for David? They lost their lives. Oh, it was gruesome. I was eating my dinner while I was reading it. I don't even want to talk about it, but there's just so many limbs being cut off back then. So what am I saying? The Lord will give his children direction and counsel. When we think we're doing a great thing, we have halfway good intentions. We're thinking we're doing the, right decision in the right path. Check with the Lord. Ask for his wisdom. And because today is September 7th, we're in Proverbs 7. And the first 4 verses talks about wisdom. My commandments, keep them and live. And my law as the apple, as the pupil, as the center of your eye. Keep them. Bind them upon thy fingers. Write them upon the table of my heart. Keep my commandments. Why? Because that will ensure that you will live. You will escape the snares and the traps of death and the enemy. Yes. And my law will be focused. And you might not think that you have a big family right now, but there is a relative that will always be with you when you are a child of the King. In verse 4 of chapter 7 of Proverbs, it says, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, thy cousin. Is a close relative. She's right there. Wisdom, when it's pleasant and we receive it, it would be our greatest confidant, our greatest companion, and we will be able to escape these crazy situations out here, and we will be safe. We are praying for the people who, oh my goodness, the devastation in the Bahamas. Just like David looked out, and you're going to see later on that he looked out for Jonathan's son Mephibosheth, who was lame. There was an accident. The Lord wants us to look out for our brothers and sisters, the survivors in the Bahamas. So let's open them with arms. Let's bless them. Let's pray for them, and make sure that we have the wisdom all around us. Ask the Lord if we're lacking. Have a wonderful Saturday evening in the Lord, and prepare for worship in spirit and in truth. Have a good evening.